IRS says people who got stimulus checks or tax rebates in 2022 do not need to pay taxes on those payments on this year's federal tax return.
Love talking about taxes.
Oh, it's a wonderful topic.
The agency clarifying after first telling folks to hold off, and they say they will not challenge the taxability of payments related to general welfare.
Get ready. Even if you don't even file a tax return, some state officials are suggesting that you do so in order to get this stimulus cash, because tax season is in full swing, and according to official estimates from the IRS, it will postline the deadline to October 15th as the latest point of when you could get a stimulus. The IRS has a period of 21 days to issue your refund into your direct deposit bank account, as long as you've completed the process electronically and have requested payment through direct deposit. The IRS will do what they're supposed to do in order to get you the money, because if you carry out the process in the traditional way and wait for the payment via printed check, the time for receipt of the refund may increase from 6 to 12 weeks. But the payment may be delayed more depending on the workload of the IRS, so it's best to follow the recommendations of the agency. A tax credit of up to $500 could soon be offered to the people of Georgia. The governor in that state has already suggested that making these one-time direct payments with $1 billion is going to help the state. The Georgia State House approved the proposal this past Thursday with a vote of 170 to 1. For further discussion, it will go to the Senate, and it's going to be voted for in helping those that need it the most. If the policy is implemented, everybody, well, it's a good sign, because it will be based on House Bill 1302. You might not know what this is, so let me explain it to you. This bill gave married couples filing jointly up to $500, heads of households got $375, and people even got much more than that. Because in addition to this, well, residents who filed their tax returns in 2020, 2021 were eligible for the reimbursement. The majority of taxpayers received their money via paper check delivered to them, but some of whom already filed electronically received a direct transfer into the bank account. The governor discussed a $1 billion property tax relief scheme that has been authorized by the State House, and it will provide a $500 rebate to the typical homeowner in Georgia. And now a similar program was run by the state until 2009, when it was discontinued at that point. A further $1 billion of the excess would be transferred to the Department of Transportation in Georgia's planned budget to pay for road maintenance. This happened after Georgia's gas tax, a significant source of funding for the department, was stopped last year. It held some things back, but it made things more possible to help out those in need. As like if you were to get a stimulus check, it's a good answer for you. I also want to add on this, everybody. In the state of Oklahoma, with state savings accounts and revenue collections at all-time highs, tax cuts are also expected to be a top priority for the Oklahoma state. Last year, the governor has urged the House, the Senate, to send them bills to eliminate the state sales tax on groceries and reduce and clean out the individual and corporate income tax rates. But none of those proposals made it into law. All of these are expected to be part of the budget negotiations again this year. Oklahoma currently has about $1 billion in its constitutional rainy day fund and a separate revenue stabilization fund. And the amount of money available for lawmakers to spend in this year's budget is expected to increase by another $1 billion. The IRS already sent out monthly checks worth half of the child tax credit. Families received $300 a month for children ages 6 to around 17, and the other half of the credit was given to families when they filed their returns. But those expansions are now gone. Families with children might be surprised when it's time to file their taxes. To qualify for this full credit, singles need annual incomes of less than $200,000, and for those married and filing jointly, you need at least $400,000 in your bank account in order to have that stimulus cash just for you. So yes, folks, I believe that President Biden can make it happen today. He can send out stimulus checks sooner than we all believe he can, and I believe that he will do it very, very soon.
Multiple reports last month indicated 50 Democratic members of the House and up to 21 Democrats in the Senate signed letters urging President Joe Biden to send recurring payments to Americans as long as the pandemic continues. So is a fourth stimulus check from Congress really confirmed?
Millions of dollars in new stimulus checks are set to be deposited this year. Many of the low income will qualify for additional financial relief. All thanks to a new bill, but on top of this, And lawmakers have proposed that making the next round of stimulus checks, everybody, has to be more targeted. It means that people will be getting a couple more stimulus payments in the couple next days. So let's see if President Biden knows what he can do and send out a fourth stimulus check, because everyone knows that it is very much necessary to do this. If he doesn't do this fast, well then, things will not be looking good for the American people, because we all know stimulus payments are necessary. First of all, on January 3rd, the new Congress was already created. Both newly elected Congress members and incumbents took their oaths of office, with Republicans take control of the House and Representatives, while Democrats retain control of the Senate, with the new Congress now in place. But the big question was, on many people's mind, is whether stimulus checks are on the table in this upcoming legislative session. Stimulus checks have received bipartisan support, but Democrats and Republicans voted together to provide the initial direct payments during the heart of the crisis. The most recent crisis relief legislation provided payments of up to $3,600 per child under age 6 to the eligible parents, and also $3,000 per child ages 6 to 17. So Republicans were on board with this specifically, although the child tax credit was a key Democratic priority. The Republicans have indicated, everybody, that they believe the current child tax credit should be modified, and that parents should receive more aid in some shape or form. But since this may be one of the few areas where there is an overlap of goals on the left and on the right, there remains a chance that parents and at least some people with extra help from the federal government could get that money sooner than we expected. And I'm pretty much shocked that can happen. Because, listen to this, some Republicans are indicating that they believe that there's some type of way to help out the people with stimulus checks. And I think that's definitely one possibility for people to get stimulus checks, but it's going to be done like this. For instance, people believe that the legislation passed in the Democratic-led House of Representatives in the last Congress would extend this child tax credit for another year. Just one more year with another spending program under $1 trillion. But critics like Joe Manchin objected to short-term programs in a 10-year bill, such as the enhanced child tax credit that could become permanent and more costly. Manchin also reportedly has proposed adding work requirements for the children's tax credit. The child tax credit was originally aimed at working parents paying over $2,000 in taxes yearly, but was greatly expanded during this crisis. And before the 2021 expansion, people working on the lowest income jobs were just not eligible for this money. This expansion made the credit available to parents with working lower income jobs or not even working. For instance, Mike Lee and Marco Rubio said they support more money going to families of parents who are working, but for those who are not, well, they're not going to get the money because you don't deserve it, they said. Well, I'm not sure about what that says. I'm not sure what that means, because President Biden definitely said that he would send out more stimulus payments. Am I right or am I wrong? First of all, New Jersey State Assembly has approved a revised version of the state child tax credit, fixing an error in the legislation that will have delayed payments for 2 years. The bill passed the program, and the governor signed into law, providing a refundable credit of up to $500 a year for people under the age of 6. And this program was a response by Democrats to soaring costs of living, but a drafting error in a final bill meant that the credit could not even be claimed until the 2023 tax year, and families will not even get the benefit until 2024. Fortunately, the problem has not even been solved, and